My dad was lovely. He was also, I realise now looking back, obstinate, and in a quiet, very quiet way, macho.
Mm.
He was the pater familias. He was the boss. My mother really sort of paid into that kind of concept. She used to fuss with his food because he had an ulcer, but every night she'd be mincing up stuff and, you know, generally kind of anxiously making sure that Jim ate. He was lovely to me when I was a small child. He used to play with me. He used to read to me. And he got very grumpy at one point because I taught myself to read because he read to me. And he used to try and skip bits in order to get me to bed early. And I used to say, Mr. Page, because I could read the words and the numbers. But he was a nice man and he was generally very much liked. He was a thoroughgoing racist. I mean, I've got a poem somewhere called Newgate's Knocker, because you know that when the knocker of Newgate, when the prisoners were brought out to be hung at Newgate prison, they used to swathe the knocker in black crape. And my father used to say about the neighbours, black as Newgate's knocker. And when he died, they all came out and they put dustbins in the street so that the student cars couldn't get in and the funeral cars could. And they liked him enormously, and he was very gentle and amiable to anyone, whatever their colour. But he was, in his way, he was a lovely man, yeah. And of course my mother, although she wasn't fluent at writing, and she didn't really know what punctuation was for, she could tell wonderful stories, not from her imagination but from her memory. And I think that's where my interest in narrative comes from. And I think that's my legacy from my mother, that fascination with storytelling, with